Okay, so this is the reflection video from the last episode, which is episode 2. And there's a lot. There was a lot of information in that video. So where I want to start is because I believe I said that the most significant relationship that my mother was in was with Ike because he was the one she was with when my father passed away. However, that relationship signifies the beginning of a spiral of trauma and traumatic events. There is one relationship that I need to mention. This was the most important relationship of my mother's entire life, and I'll tell you why. The relationship that I'm referring to is with Maz. They were together when I was, I think, 12, maybe like 11, I don't know, 11 or 12. And what this man taught me was what a father is supposed to look like. He spent time with us, he paid attention to us, he taught us a lot of things, he took us out, he was really dedicated to us. Not only that, he taught us discipline. He made us accountable for making our messes and everything. And he really opened me up to music, which was pretty much my therapy my entire life. I loved this man so much. But they weren't together long enough for him to like teach me how to love myself or to my self-worth or what love looks like or what love should look like, but he did cushion a lot that could have been really tragic, or a lot more than it was. I am so grateful for him that he was in my life and that he loved me. And I needed to mention that because I only remember good about that relationship and about that time he spent with us. And I don't think he understands how much it meant to me, all of us. Okay, so there's that. So a lot of tragic things happened in the next 2 years. However, let me explain that during this time, like my house was the party house, like where everybody went to hang out, have a good time. We would all smoke cigarettes and like whatever. My house was like the hangout house after school. Like everybody would come home on the bus with us because my mother was never there. So we were unsupervised, feral children. But like one time my sister drew all over the walls in our bedroom and everybody that came over signed the walls or drew something. So like we had like cool stuff happening, like my mom was the cool mom, like we would talk about sex to my mother and my friends would learn about sex through my mother, because they couldn't have conversations like that with their moms. So my mom was the cool mom, but at the same time she was distant. After my father had passed away, we got insurance money to the tune of like $19,000 a piece or whatever. But at the time, because we were all underage, she got to use the money in the benefit of the children. And we never saw a new car, never saw a wardrobe, never saw a shit. And then when she kicked us out, or kicked me out, I had asked her about the money, and she said it was all gone. So like I said, she was doing her own thing, We were being teenagers, so we weren't paying attention, And the tough love was extremely damaging. But this is all between like 15 and 17. It wasn't boom, boom, boom right at 15. It was the next 2 years. And in the next segment, I actually backtrack to when I was 10. Because when I was writing the book, I didn't want to tell the story. I thought that I could get through the book without it, but there's no possible way because this incident molded me and my suicide ideation, my feelings of being abandoned, like I was the bad one, that, feeling unloved, all this. So I will get into that in the next video, episode 3. What else did I want to talk about? So this is another thing too. So my father, to me, was already dead when he died. Like I said, I hadn't spoke to him in 2 years when he had passed away. He didn't give a shit about me, and I knew it. So it was already like, that was already set in stone in my head. So, but when he had died, it made it final. Like there was no chance of it ever changing, which was damaging. But what my father's death does symbolize is, literally like a spiral of traumatic events that really fucked me up. Okay, what else did I want to talk about? Yeah, I already talked about that. Okay, so, and then what did I talk about? Okay, so Ricky and the pregnancy, I think I went pretty far with that. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, I love that man to this day. Like, if that whole incident didn't happen, I mean, I don't even know if we would still be together. We might have stayed together a lot longer. But I was so traumatized by the whole experience that I broke it off with him. But I never forgave myself for it, because he truly was my first love. I loved him. And I was totally crushed, even though I caused the breakup. But, I mean, he didn't help cheating on me. But yeah. Yeah. Anyways, there's that. But, after that, I began, well, like I said, I had a lot of shame. And, and I was hurt numerous times already by guys. So I kind of went down this, like, numbing myself, and, and the other thing was that guys always hit on me. Like, it was constant. It was not healthy, and it wasn't, I didn't, it was like everybody always wanted a physical relationship with me, but they never wanted to love me. And so I had this happen over and over and over again. And so I was just promiscuous and was like, whatever. I'll, try. I don't know what I was trying to find. I don't know what I was trying to do, but I was just trying to be loved, and it wasn't happening because I didn't have any kind of role model to tell me what that looks like, or how to do that. I thought that sex was love because that's all guys ever wanted. And so I just tried to make guys love me through physical attraction or lust or whatever. And, you can only get so far with that, little did I know. But then also, like, my first relationship was, my first long-term relationship, which was with Ronnie. You'll hear about that. I'm not going to go into it right now, but you'll hear about all that. Anyways, so I just wanted to set the scene a little for all that before episode 3. I am brutally honest in this book, and it's hard for me because it's very vulnerable, and not only that, like, if this gets out, there's a lot of people who are in this story that I didn't ask if it was okay if I, I don't know. And another thing is that, like, everybody experiences things in their own story. You are the character of your story. So the way I see it doesn't necessarily mean that that's how they experienced it. Doesn't make my story or their story any less true. But I don't know. I'm just going to be authentically me, and hopefully the universe supports that. That's all I'm going to say. And I hope that I haven't not disrespected, but I hope that I haven't offended anybody, and that this is a learning experience for everybody, even the people in the story. So that's it. That's all I can say. I don't use anybody's last name, but I do use first names. So, um, anyways, that's it. That's what I'm doing here, and here it is. At the best of my ability, I'm just trying to help others. Okay, till next time.